Alright, this is John Cola with OKRAW.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. I'm still here at the 2019 Canada Fruit Festival. Always have a great time at different fruit festivals that I go to around the world, really. And, the cool thing is meeting new friends and hanging out with old ones. So I always love when I get to see Dr. Sam. I mean, he's one of the people here at this event that I trust, value the most. And I would encourage you guys to seek him out. He doesn't have a huge online presence, although he has now been doing the raw foods diet for over 20 years, a little bit over 20 years now. And he's a wealth of knowledge. He's known as a health raiser because he wants to raise your health. And he even has a rap song about it. But anyways, we're not going to be talking about health raising today. We're going to talk about how you can exercise it to improve your looks, your performance, and your...
How do you feel?
And how you feel is the most important thing in the world. Maybe next time we'll do memory. So, so let's just get right into this video. It's gonna be short, quick, but also powerful too, because I really want you guys, and one of the reasons I'm doing this video is that I can remember what Dr. Sam's telling me so that I can do it. You know, we are all on our journey. I'm still learning and growing, and I would always encourage you guys to have a half full teacup, never all the way full, so you can always incorporate new things that you learn. This is how we grow and become better in life, and it makes me sad, people that just want to stagnate and not ever improve in their lives or what they're doing. So, Dr. Sam, what are these three tips?
All right, so the three best exercises for helping you, yes, look, perform, and feel better in life. And over time, I've had a lot of people come up to me, and especially at festivals, and they'll say, hey, Dr. Sam, what's a good exercise for ... fill in the blank. And so after answering over and over and over, one festival in particular, it just kind of came through me. It just came right out. I said, well, exercise your power of choice, and then you wouldn't have to do these remedial exercises. So I'll take you through them, and that is one of them actually, but we'll go through all three. The first one, most importantly, is exercising your power of awareness. So awareness has to precede change. If you're not fully aware of something, it's really hard to change something. So to exercise your power awareness, you have to practice. So you have to practice using all five senses and your sixth sense as well, your intuition, to become more aware of what you're eating, aware of what you're drinking, aware of the TV shows you're watching, the books you're reading, the people you're hanging out with, the environments you're in. Exercising your power of awareness is key number one, because without that, you're not going to succeed with the rest of any type of exercise you do, because your awareness is off. I often see people tuning out all the time, especially when they're exercising. And I ask people, well, why do you do that when you exercise? Why do you read a magazine when you're walking on a treadmill? Or why do you listen to your headphones while you're walking in the park? And they're always, well, I'm trying to multitask and I'm trying to just be more efficient. I understand and respect that to a point, but you're tuning out at that point. You cannot be aware of one thing if you're focusing and you're splitting your mind like that. People insist they can. Like, you can do it, it's just not optimal. And so if you really want more optimal health, or even you're trying to improve your health, you have to pay attention. And I think, especially in the world we live in now, and people are just here, they're just tuning out all the time, especially looking down at their phones. The phone isn't the problem. The phone is just a piece of technology. It's our awareness and how we choose to use it to either improve our life or move us in the other direction and not improve our life. So that's exercise number one, power of awareness.
Okay, so Dr. Sam, like if somebody, is hearing this now, they hear, okay, power awareness, I need to be more aware. How can they actually do that? Are there any kind of steps?
Yeah, well, for sure there is, and all the exercises kind of tie in together, the three. But the first step is to actually make the conscious choice and set the intention to do that. So if you might have to, for the next week, set the intentions, I'm going to become a more aware person. And just set that intention. I'm going to go throughout my day with more awareness. I'm not going to just go through some routine in my day. I'm actually going to go through the day being very mindful and very present so that I can become more aware of what's going on in the surroundings around me. That's like number one, is just to set the intention to become a more aware person. Just like you'd set an intention to build muscle or lose weight or look more beautiful, and based on just taking better care of yourself. So it all starts with an intention, for sure.
So I would say, use your senses, right? We have senses and we just don't use them. I'm sitting here outside in beautiful Canada and British Columbia, and right now, if I'm being more aware, I'm feeling the breeze across my face. I'm hearing the birds behind me. I'm hearing the sprinklers over across yonder, I'm hearing Dr. Sam talking. I'm hearing some talking in the background. Just kind of know and perceive what's going on around you. listen to your heart, your body, what your sixth sense is telling you. I mean, that's just what it is. We usually tune out because we put all our attention on the TV, and then we're not aware, that like something is going on behind us. Our kids are snitching cookies out of the cookie jar, people stealing your fruit.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a great spiritual expression that and it's, you could say whether it's spiritual or not, but it said when you look outward, you're dreaming, and when you look inward, you're awake. And so you just alluded to that. So you have to turn your awareness inward very often to become a more awake person, become a more aware person. Again, we have all the stimuli around us, shiny object syndrome. We get distracted all day long. And so you have to turn your awareness inward to become a more aware person. You can try to pick up all that's in your environment, but if you do that all the time and you're not paying attention to becoming aware of what's going on inside of you, then you're going to lose the power of awareness overall, because ultimately the answers are within. They are, but the only way to get there, as the saying goes, the way in is the way out. You got to turn that awareness inward. Spend time every day in quietude, or maybe in meditation, or just with your eyes closed, breathing consciously. Maybe you journal a little bit, but the awareness has to go inward for it to be able to move outward. So that's number one.
So Sam, is the awareness you're talking about, is it aware about just your surroundings and aware about your senses and all six senses, or is it just about awareness on the inside of you?
It's both. It's a great question. So it is, if you had to just keep it simple, it's the awareness of your environment, both internal and external.
Yeah, okay.
So awareness of the environment around you and the awareness of the environment in you. As they say, as above, so below, and as without is within. And so both are vitally important.
Right, and it's really easy to get distracted in all our outside senses, and we don't normally look in, so that's why you want to really highlight that a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right, cool.
That's the one that I think people miss the most, is turning their awareness inward and becoming a heightened sensitivity to that. And very often, that's tough work to do. That's why it's the higher path, that's why it's the higher road, that's why it's the stairway to heaven, but the highway to hell, right? It's easy going down, but climbing those steps is difficult, but that's the necessary work. Becoming more aware really is about becoming enlightened when you think about it. If you became a more aware person, you'd become a more enlightened person. So that scares people though, right? When you turn the light up, they start to see their shadow side. They don't want to do the work, but it's necessary if you really want to take your health to the next level.
Cool, so what's the second exercise?
So then the second exercise is exercising your power of choice. So once you become aware, then you have to exercise your power of choice. We're simply a product of our choices. The actions we take and the choices we make, right? We're creatures of habit and we're creatures of culture. So the creatures of habit, you've heard before, we're creatures of habit. We are. So you have to establish good habits through choices and actions. The culture is what we're talking about, your environment. They both matter just as much. But making conscious choices still comes back to a choice in and of itself. You can choose to choose consciously, or you can choose to just do things like haphazardly, but the conscious choice is going to be the one that serves you the best, for sure. And you practice. How do you get good at anything? You practice. So you practice choosing consciously. You practice, for example, let's say you're going to go shopping, and instead of just throwing a bunch of fruit in the cart and be like, I want to get out, I got better things to do in my time, actually make conscious choices about what you're buying. Like actually inspect the fruit, pick it up, use your senses of awareness, right, to tune into these things before you put them in your cart and you actually check out. Because you're going to do what you practice. So if you practice something without a lot of awareness and just haphazardly, that's what you're going to become good at. People do this with exercise, and I always go, great job, you got really good at sucking at it, right? Because all you've done is a bunch of counting reps instead of making your reps count. All right, and so the same goes for food choices or clothing choices or choices of what festivals you want to attend. So make your choices conscious. Make your choices conscious, for sure.
So conscious, just basically think about and, make better choices?
Yeah, I mean, put some actual thought and effort into what you're doing as opposed to having like these knee-jerk reflexive actions of, well, I'll just do this and I don't even know why. When I choose to do something throughout the day, there's a purpose behind it. And, even planning a day so that you can actually, become more efficient with your day and save time and save energy and save money. It takes a little bit of conscious thought. And some people call that planning because that's what planning is. It's conscious thought process, right? That you're going to actually plan something out. So you go, oh, I don't have time to eat. Well, wait a minute. If I pack this with me, I can eat in the car, on the way to this meeting. And again, it's not maybe the optimal way to eat, but it's better than starving. You're not going to do it all the time. But if you're not a conscious person, and you just leave the house like, oh, I'll figure it out. Now you put yourself without food, and then all of a sudden you put yourself in a precarious situation where you might downward spiral because you get hungry later and you can't control that. You know, we just fast because we
don't need food.
We don't need food.
Until we want to.
Right. I mean, we've done enough of this lifestyle to know, like, okay, big deal. We can miss
Yeah.
10 meals and it wouldn't matter. So, but the average person can't. Sometimes they just get psychologically broken by that feeling of, oh, I'm going to starve if I don't eat something. But again, if you had a little bit more consciousness about your choices the night before or even the morning of, you would have been set and you don't put yourself in that situation. Right?
Cool. So, I mean, the thing I want you guys to be really conscious of is conscious of when you're eating, right? Oh, it's 8 o'clock a.m. I got to eat breakfast because it's 8, or it's noon. I got to eat because it's noon. Like, I want you guys to be conscious of when you're feeling true hunger, right? When does true hunger happen? Not when your belly is rumbling or anything like that. It's kind of like felt in the nose, not the nose, the throat and the mouth, actually. It's kind of like when you feel thirsty. You know when you feel thirsty? Hunger is kind of like a thirst feeling, but it's totally different. And if you've never experienced it, you wouldn't really know. And so that's really important for me. Just, I mean, if you just start off with that one, what other things should people be conscious about besides all their choices, Dr. Sam, that you think is something that somebody could start off with if they're usually not conscious about, you know, their schedule? If they go to work, you know, a lot of people at work got to do the same exact task without thinking about it, pretty much.
Right. So sometimes you get just in this rut. So I think even conscious about how you're doing things and asking questions to yourself. Well, how could I be more efficient at this? I'll give people a good idea. How could I make this more fun? Because fun motivates people, right? Fun motivates people. Money motivates people. Connections motivate people. Feeling a sense of purpose and connecting with community. So ask yourself that question. How could I feel more connected doing this? How could I have more fun doing this? How could I earn money or save money by doing it, you know, a different way? Because then you'll start to think more consciously. Or you got to have a motivating thing to want you to even think consciously. Otherwise, what's the point? Or what's the point of getting out of bed anymore if you don't have a purpose in life? There really isn't one. Well, what's the point of thinking consciously if there's no return on your investment of making a conscious choice? There isn't one. So you have to have something that motivates you, and then you'll start to really look for reasons. You'll prioritize thinking consciously because that's motivating you to make the conscious choice.
Wow, totally amazing. So, yeah.
The third one.
Live consciously. What's the third exercise, Dr.
So
Sam?
the third one, which ties the other two together, is exercise your power of breath and breathing. And this is something that, you know, I teach workshops on and part of my retreats that I run in Costa Rica. And you might have heard it before, right? Breath is life and life is breath, and breathing's so important, and it is, and I can't stress it enough, but there's a big difference between breathing and breathing efficiently. So most people think, well, I must be doing it right, I'm alive. And you're breathing well enough to be alive, but are you breathing well enough to thrive? The people that thrive have energy like this guy, right? You know, and it's so important to just get mastering your breath, because when you're breathing correctly, you will become more aware. They go hand in hand, right? And when you breathe correctly, you're going to make more conscious choices because there's actual oxygen getting to your brain and feeding your brain some of the very nutrients it needs. It's a glucose and oxygen hog. It needs both, right? And so when you feed it the fuel that it runs on, right, just like a car has to have the right mix of fuel and oxygen. Well, so does the body. So you give it its fuel, what it runs on, C6H12O6, or, you know, glucose, or whatever you want to call it, but carbohydrates for sure as a primary source, and then oxygen along with it. That then the combustion happens and the engine just works at peak performance. So mastering your power and exercising your power of breath. Most people hold their breath throughout the day. So one way to catch yourself is do a breathing inventory. So get out a piece of notebook paper. Yes, this requires work. Get out, all great things do. So get out a piece of paper and then just write out when I'm watching TV, if you do, or YouTube videos or whatever, when I'm talking to people, when I'm eating, so then start to pay attention to, in those situations, how well you breathe. And you'd be surprised at what you might find, because you might find, yeah, he's right, when I text, my shoulders come up and I have a term for that, waking apnea. You know, most people know sleep apnea, so they're sleeping and they wake up hundreds of times a night. It's not a good thing, by the way. You should correct that if you have it. But waking apnea, to me, is no better. You're just in waking hours, but you're holding your breath all day long, and that's not a good thing. So pay attention to, use your power of awareness, right? And then your power of choice, and pay attention to how well you breathe throughout the day and run the inventory, because in certain situations, you're probably not breathing well at all. You might not even be breathing at all. I call that a no-haler. So you're not inhaling or exhaling, you're no-haling, right? There's just no breath. You're just have like apnea, right? It's just without breathing. And for short periods of time, that's actually beneficial, right? Wim Hof, it was made that popular, right? Intermittent hypoxic training. But we're not meant to do that all the time, and we're not meant to hold our breath all the time. So when you're doing it all the time, it creates a lot of havoc in the body. Blood vessels start constricting, and you're getting blood shunted out of vital organs. Not a good thing. So the breathing is so vitally important. We could talk for hours on this alone.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We all need to breathe. I mean, we need to eat food, yes, but we could go days without food, maybe hours without water, but literally only minutes without oxygen. So I want you guys to think about that. So Dr. Sam, like, you know, I think one thing is being conscious about breathing and breathing more, but how about being more efficient at breathing? So do you have like a quick breathing exercise you'd like to share with people so that they could actually get more breath in per, or more oxygen in per breath?
Sure, and one thing to lead into that is so vitally important. Breathing is the first motor program you learn. Okay, so every other movement or program we have is subservient to the breath. So people are like, it's breathing stuff, who cares? I want to go bench press or squat. It's all well and good, but those are always going to be subservient to your breath. So if you are into those other activities, and that's fine, but if you're trying to actually improve and not get injured, but you are competitive with them and you're trying to get your personal best, I can promise you, if you don't prioritize your breath, you'll never hit peak performance, because your body will always abort a lift. Like if you're bench pressing heavy, you're squatting, your body's going to go abort, 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 because the breath got locked up. And it makes sense why it would do that. It's the law of self-preservation. It's always going to prioritize the breath over any other, movement pattern, especially if it's coming from ego, like you're just trying to hulk out and bench press the world or do whatever. And that's just something I think once people understand, they're like, okay, I've never heard it put that way. It's the first motor program we learn. So just keep that in mind before you start prioritizing every other. That's why the 3 best exercises is about what I'm talking about today, and not about doing squats or push-ups or jump rope or whatever. I mean, those are good exercises for lots of reasons, but they're not better than the 3 I just mentioned. Come back to your question, sure. One of the things that I think is really important to become an efficient breather is just to pay attention to the breath and actually fill up. We can even borrow from yoga to fill up your whole body. It's not belly breathing, it's body breathing. So in yoga they talk about a 3-part breath. So you would fill in the lower part here, then the middle part here, then the upper part here, like all the way in your chest, and then breathe out. To become a more efficient breather, as simple as this. I'll give you a couple tips. 1, become a nose breather. It's not efficient to breathe through your mouth. So if you were breathing in, the way I just said, it would be through your nose. Okay, and you could keep it in a coherent pattern, meaning the same equal time in and equal time out. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out, or 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. 6 seconds is a good goal. If you can't get there because you just have a shallow lung capacity from improper breathing from years and years and years, then work up to it. Don't do a pattern where you're breathing and then getting anxious and getting air hunger. You want to just start with 4 seconds in, but work yourself up to 6 and get used to breathing in that pattern of 6 in and 6 out. So vitally important. Coherent breathing really tends to bring the whole body into balance, and that's what we're always searching for in health. When you're in a balanced state, you're healthier. Your mind works better, your body works better, your spirit can communicate to you better, you're in a way better off state. So that's one way to become an efficient breather, is to work on that, filling up your whole body. And when you breathe in, it's not just pushing your stomach out, you expand in all directions. So if you pictured a balloon down here and it's not just, the balloon doesn't just blow up on one end, it's in all directions. So 3-part breath, here and here, and here and here, and then up through here. So it's body breathing. So you're getting wider and you're getting smaller, and you're getting wider and you're getting smaller. Just like the pulse of life. I mean, the whole earth breathes, right? It's just like this pulsing sensation. Vitally important. When you're concentrating, because we talked about this before, when you're focused on something and you tend to hold your breath, here's your way out of that. Because I do a lot of physical labor, I know you do too. You're always in your garden, and when you're not doing that, you're probably doing something like power washing something, like your garden tools. All right, hum. If you hum, humming is something kids instinctively do, right? They're until they're told, shut up, sit still. And then they're like, oh, and they want to be like the big people in the tribe, so they just kind of kowtow and just go within, and it just shuts them off, right? You just shut them down when you do that. Not that kids don't need discipline, but there's a proper way to do it other than telling them to shut up. But humming actually scientifically has been proven to increase nitric oxide levels in your nose, which dilates blood vessels, which is quite important if you don't want to suffer from things like heart disease and strokes and cancer and diabetes and every other major problem that plagues America and now the world. And so it's really a really cool trick. And even if you had to silent hum, even if you're thinking about humming, because what's going to happen if I were to hum and it was like, eventually I'm going to go, right? You're going to breathe. So try this if you're washing dishes even. I don't have too many. You probably don't either. Eat out of the same bowl. So raw food is you don't even have a lot of like utensils.
There's a few ones I really like and whatever. I don't really need the rest.
But even like when you're hosing down your tools or you're in your garden, just if you're humming, I promise you can't hold your breath when you do that, and then you're getting more of this natural coherent breathing, not having to think about it too much. You're just more focused on humming. So that's an awesome tip, just to get people from holding their breath. And pay attention to it. We were talking earlier, and I set reminders, that go off during the day. I'm going to make a whole video about that in the future, but of how to do that. And then you're constantly coming back to the breath. You're coming back to the breath. You're coming back to the breath. Yeah, you almost need to get obsessed with it for a little while. It'll drive you crazy because, damn it, I'm doing it again. I'm holding my breath. Good, that's growth. Like you don't want to run away from that. You want to realize, like, yes, and why do I keep doing that? Not I keep doing it so I quit. No, I keep doing it. Let me fix it. How do I fix it? By practicing, and eventually you'll stop doing it because you'll either go insane trying to prevent yourself from doing it, or you'll be like, okay, I have to end the insanity by just becoming more conscious to where I stop holding my breath, and that will happen. It doesn't take that long really to master it, but to break the habit, and then you because breath is a lifelong skill set that we can never be too good at. So you can master it to a sense, but only to a degree because there's so many levels of it. Just get the basic breathing down.
Wow, amazing 3 exercises you guys could do that I want you guys to get started with today. Dr. Sam is a wealth of knowledge, and Dr. Sam, if somebody wants to actually get these tips actually in a format like a report you put out with even probably more information that could help you guys out, how can they do that?
Yeah, just go to my main website, drsampt.com. So that's drsampt.com. There's no periods after doctor or anywhere in there. So drsampt.com. Check it out. Once you get on the site, you'll see on the homepage a place where you can actually get this report about the 3 best exercises. It has the information we were talking about, as well as some links to some other resources. And that's where you can go. That's where you can connect with me as well. You can find me on Instagram or YouTube, but there's links to that on my main site. If you want to just check it out. Love to connect with you. Love to serve. Always happy to serve your community, John. I love this guy. I've known him since the beginning, so to speak.
Time,
Gosh,
yeah.
we have probably met.
Where do we meet, man?
Was it Rostock?
Back in the day, dude. You went to Rostock in the apple orchard, right?
Yeah, in the apple orchard. That's where it was.
Oh my gosh.
So that was toward the beginning. And so we've known each other for so long,
and over almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Almost pretty much the span of
It was like 2001 or 2.
Yeah, that would be it. So a little bit after I first went raw, and I think it's so vitally important that we continue to just be role models by living the example.
Yeah, and learn and share what we've learned, because I mean that's another thing important to me. Like everything you've learned is worth nothing unless you share it.
Yeah, and it's not worth anything unless you do something with it.
That too.
I'm notorious for saying
that's
this.
even probably more important.
Yeah, I'm notorious for saying this. Knowledge is knowing, and wisdom is doing. So you can let this report or this video, if you're taking the video, and just be like, oh yeah, I know that stuff, or oh yeah, okay, but that's knowledge, and that's not going to make you healthier. That'll make you smarter. It just won't make you healthier. If you want to get healthier, it's in the doing, and that's the wisdom. So please take and implement, even if it's just one of them. Pick the awareness one, or even just pick the breathing one because it's so vitally important. But definitely just apply some of this stuff, and it'll change your life. I promise you it will. People make health things way too hard. They make life too hard. But that's because for somewhere along the line we were told something and we believed it. A lie that life was supposed to be difficult and a struggle, and it's not. If you just start to implement some very basic things, most great truths are simple, and this isn't any different.
Wow, yeah, Dr. Sam has all these really simple, easy things you could do to make massive changes in your life. I mean, this guy breaks it down into simple science, literally. Simple steps, actually, even better analogy. So he has awesome retreats, and you have a cool program coming out. You want to maybe explain what the program you have coming out is?
Yeah, I mean, I can say this. Be on the lookout for an ebook called The Victorious Vegan, How to Have Better Health, More Vitality, and Deeper Love in Your Life. And that's going to be a free thing, actually. It's a free ebook I'm releasing, and that will guide people into, if they want to do a deeper dive into what this product's going to be all about, which would be like a blueprint to help guide you to taking your health to a whole new level. And it's going to be power-packed with a lot of value. I mean, to me, it'll be probably a no-brainer decision.
It's priceless, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be priceless.
All his life's work literally in one package that will make changes, probably make the biggest changes in your life if you actually implement them.
Yeah, you gotta do the work.
I trust this guy for sure, man.
Yeah, you got to do the work. There's no doubt about it. People want they want the quick fix. There really is one. I promise you there is, and it's not based on snake oil or it's not a one-trick pony. It's actually true whole system health based on natural laws, common sense. It's affordable, sustainable, ethical, and it works. And that's one of the things I'm so passionate about is being the conscious creator of the real quick fix. Because being a healthcare provider for over 22 years, I've been asked many times, "Hey, Dr. Sam, can you give me a quick fix?" And I used to get so pissed off, like, there's no such thing. Health is earned, and I still feel that way. But it's good or bad. Health is earned. All right, you can either earn poor health or you can earn good health based on, guess what? Your power of awareness, your power of choice, your power of breathing, so that you can be a clear, conscious, connected channel and make the decisions that you need to do in your life to take your game up in life, so you can just show up and express your true unique talents and gifts to the world to make the world a better place.
Wow, amazing. And that's why I had Dr. Sam on for you guys today to share these important exercises with you so that you guys can become better in the end. If you guys enjoyed this episode, want more videos with Dr. Sam when I see him, maybe every 1 or 2 years, depending. Hey, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, be sure to share this video with somebody else you love, a friend or a relative, a family member that you think it could totally help out by doing some of these, simple changes. Don't even involve food, actually, for that point, because so many people don't want to change their diet, but they could just implement some of these breathing, and probably more. It's definitely more important than food, actually. So be sure to share. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes. I'm coming out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where we'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And also be sure to click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. Finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. I've done a number of episodes with Dr. Sam. I'll put links down below in the description with some other videos with Dr. Sam. He is a wealth of knowledge. I love this guy. We're like brothers from another mother, I like to say. And with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRAW.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. Are always the best.